am Kara858, and today we're bringing you our brand new campaign, Reclamation, Episode 5, Season 1. Of course, we're definitely happy that you're able to join us for this brand new campaign filled with mystery, thriller, and a bit of suspense. With that said, we're going to jump right into it. But first, let's go ahead and introduce our cast, say who they are, who they're playing, and any project that they're working on. And we'll start first, of course, with the wonderful Aries. Would you like to talk about yourself?
Sure. Hey, everyone. I'm Adrian, or Aries, whichever you'd like to call me. And, I'm playing Jethrin Cloudpool, the Leonin Paladin Barbarian. And you can also find me over on the Bearpin. And, we have a couple of projects coming up, but stay tuned to our Twitter, at the Bearpin or at the Adrian Bear, and you can find out what might be coming up.
Perfect. Next, we have the wonderful Ree. Would you like to talk about yourself? Aries, who are you playing?
I started off with that, actually.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I keep missing that part for some reason. Ree, would you like to talk about yourself, who you're playing, and projects you're working on?
Hello, everyone. I am at Big Dude Ring on all of the socials. Tonight, I am playing Kashad Chiron, the head of this fledgling house and, creepy sorcerer. I can be found doing various things all around the internet, including both here and over on the Bearpin. You can get a full list of everything I'm doing over on my Twitter. But to run through it really quickly, I appear on Rivenwood Academy as Ardris. I am on Lords of Faerun is Avis, and you should definitely check that out now that we're on it's over for the first season. You should also keep your eyes open for another project coming up in the next few weeks. And I'm playing over on Thala as Amaris, the nonchalant wizard with the past. And I hope you enjoy all these characters. That's it.
Perfect. Next, we have the lovable Ari. Ari, you'd like to talk about who you're playing and projects you're working on.
Hi, I'm Ari. You can find me on Twitter at Small Shadow Snack. It is a possum trove at this point. It's all you're going to find over there. Here I'm playing Shay Asher, the wizard who likes to do housework rather than get into a fight. I'm also over on the Bearpin. I play Elijah in Blood on the Bayou. I am also Katya on Fallout Windy Wasteland. In addition, I guess I can announce it here, we are bringing back Undead in Dallas. I will be storytelling that starting in April, actually. But over here, you can see me here, as Shay, of course, and then over on Rivenwood as Yvain.
Perfect. Making our way down, we have the lovable Zach. If you'd like to talk about yourself, who you're playing, and projects you're working on.
Yeah, right now I play Kellen on Rivenwood Academy, and I exist here on Reclamation to cause 100% of the problems and offer 10% of the solutions, and see how everyone makes their way out of it with that.
Fantastic. Next, we have the wonderful D. Di, you'd like to talk about yourself, who you're playing, and projects you're working on.
Hi, I'm Di. You can find me on Twitter at Dicromaniac. I'm here, and I'm also on Thala Unbound over on the Bearpin as Zashi, the little bit awkward monk, but they're great. And looking forward to doing some more stuff. So just keep eyes out. I spend too much time on Twitter.
Twitter takes over. And of course, we have the lovable Aaron. Aaron, you'd like to talk about yourself, who you're playing, and the projects you're working on.
Hello, I'm Rin, or Aaron. This campaign, I am the best butler, Timmons. Secret agent woman. No, that's not true. One of my favorite characters, and an excellent human monk. For Rivenwood Academy, I am, as Zach likes to put it, the chorus. I do the DMing for that one. And otherwise, I'm an incredibly busy actual professional in real life and very sleep deprived.
Understandable. As for yours truly, I am Kara858. I'm playing the lovable Sweet Bean Brea. And as I mentioned, you can find me on most of the content here, such as Riverwood Academy, as well as this Reclamation. Lords of Faerun had just finished. Boss Beyond Time, which is, of course, currently coming out. And then by this time frame, both of our brand new series should be appearing, which is, of course, first Fractured Destiny, which features Noir and Enigma as the DM. It has a fantastic cast, so definitely keep an eye out for that. That is actually going to be streamed on our Twitch at twitch.tv/Kara858. And our second campaign that will be coming out is called A Mist, A Light and Shadow, which is a brand new campaign that will be featuring also on our Twitch channel on Sundays. So all of this by this time frame, by the time this episode comes out, it will be around the time you see this first episode. So see the first episode. So with that said, those are pretty much all of the projects that we're working on. If you want to keep up to date on all of our content, make sure to follow us on Twitter at the Kara858 or the Cookout TTRPGs for not just TTRPG goodness, but Die Hard Dice giveaways and more. With that said, those are all of our announcements. Go ahead. We're going to switch over to our wonderful DM. So with that, Zach, take it away.
So you could say that I am rubber and you're glue, and whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you. I take it away. Back to you guys. What is the party up to? Jethrin, at this point in time, has returned, bearing some components for Kashad.
All right. I think we were all preparing for the journey ahead. So I think Abrea would just be packing their stuff up, getting No Name Yet ready, because this is their first time traveling outside of even the city, let alone to a full-blown wilderness. So, they're giving them some pep talks and preparing them for the great outdoors and knowing that they're going to love it. But yeah, they're just preparing for the event.
Just finished a proper letter to House Slate Wing, notifying them of our intentions, and a polite but firm request for Griffins to escort us. And he will, imagine we have like a runner, or if not, we can hire like a teenager that we helped to be a runner to just run the letter to the place. And then,
I would say you have people who are probably more just generally not even necessarily like someone that you hired, but who the queen has hired, primarily because she wants you to be able to get messages to her if you need to. So that would be who is around right now. If you wanted to like replace that person with a person of your own in the future, you could, but that's typically what you all do is
that's it.
You have access to her person.
That's fine. Now he will give that letter to them, and then he will go and gather the rest of his house to make sure they're all doing their jobs.
What about the rest of you? Are you all doing your jobs?
That is one way to put what Timmons is doing, except for she is being exacting in her job right now. She is a little bit more terse than maybe normally, but she is running around with the expectation that if she's leaving this house, it is going to be in perfect shape when she leaves, and it had better be in perfect shape when she gets back.
Do you mention anything to them about the little accident the other day?
Ooh. Oh, yeah, that does remind me. I have some people to chew out. Yeah, I'm going to go find the cook and Shay.
You do?
And get them in a... No, Shay, I'm going to have them come to my private room.
Shay, I assume you're probably in the midst of, like, preparing dinner right now, right?
He doesn't normally help out in the kitchen, only when they're short-staffed. So he's probably been tidying up one of the rooms, just cleaning up, making sure there's no dust. He's probably dusting.
Okay. You are summoned to Timmons' room currently.
No, wait for both of them to get in.
Confused, but just like, okay, like just walks.
The cook is kind of whispering to you along the way. Did we do something? I'm confused.
I don't know what's going on. We never do anything wrong.
We're awesome. You're right. Okay, sorry. Let's go.
I mean, unless, did we like put something in the wrong area?
God, I hope not.
Oh, this is going to be the pie pan incident all over again.
And they are in front of you, Timmons.
Please have a seat. I'm going to very carefully close the door. It is my understanding that the two of you abandoned your post in this home in order to allow someone to prank me.
Jay, you definitely didn't do that.
Miss Timmons, have you ever known me to abandon my post anywhere?
I look at the cook.
Oh no. You're not talking about that very kind gentleman from the other day, are you?
I would hope if there is a second incident that you are confused about, that you would tell me of it as well.
Well, I obviously apologize if I made you uncomfortable, Miss Timmons. It's just looking back on it, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like it's not something that I would ever typically do, but obviously I did, and I remember doing it. But he came to the door, and very polite gentleman, always very good about eye contact, sort of a very imposing figure. And, he met my eyes and he said, maybe you have duties to accomplish elsewhere right now. And then I did remember some other things that I needed to do, but obviously I couldn't just allow someone into the house like that. But then they suggested that maybe they were friendly enough that I didn't mind so much, and I sort of remember not minding so much, but that doesn't really make any sense.
I think the longer that the cook talks, just like the more Timmons' shoulders kind of sag a bit. Very well. Are you harmed?
Oh, no, I seem to be fine. Should I expect to be harmed? I will accept whatever punishment you think is right, Miss Timmons.
Well, I suppose in punishment, you will just have to keep my exacting standards in my stead. As we were going on a trip, would appreciate some assistance in packing the food for the journey.
That I can do. There are a lot of tasks to keep a household running.
You may go.
But
you may go. Shay, could you stay for a moment?
The mouth sort of opens and then immediately closes, and they're like, I got out of this one pretty well, and they just sort of slip out the door and close it behind them.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just confused.
I was told that you were in the kitchen at this time. I went down, there was no one there.
But what time?
I give him the exact time that I went down, because I was told that Shay was in the kitchen when I was heading there, because I was going to the kitchen to talk to Shay.
I had to pop out to the outside garden to get a couple things.
Well, your timing is terrible, but probably fortunate.
I'm just confused.
Make an insight check, Timmons. You're fairly good at that.
Yeah. It's all that expertise I've got going. A 19 plus 9 is a 28.
You are free to speak of the matter however you wish, but that is plenty for Timmons to know that it wasn't that Shay's timing was bad so much as someone else's timing was probably rather good.
Shay, there are many threats to this house and its people all around us. As I am concerned for the safety of others, I am also concerned for the safety of yourself.
I mean, I'm pretty good in a fight. It's less concerned for me, more concerned for the staff who can't defend themselves.
Timmons smiles just a little bit when you're like, "Oh, I'm pretty good at a fight," because I think this might be one of the first times Shay has been like, "Oh no, I'm good at something other than dishes. It's cool." So Timmons is like, "Yes, I'm certain that you can look after yourself. Just, I'm suggesting we should all probably be a little more alert right now."
So, buddy system?
Buddy system.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, that's... Berries doesn't count, does he?
I don't believe so.
Oh.
How is Berries?
Shay just kind of looks and lifts back his jacket a little bit. I think he's sleeping. He ate an entire strawberry.
Oh. He is unfortunately terminally cute.
You see one little eye peek halfway open and look at you, Timmons, and then it just falls right back.
Will Berries be accompanying us on our journey?
Absolutely not. I'm leaving him here with the cook.
No.
Would you like me to bring him? I wasn't planning on it, but I can. I just thought, maybe secret stealthy mission might not need anything furry on it.
Yes, I just find myself often preoccupied with the fact that the house is a zoo when I am not in it, in a very literal sense.
Oh, it's only getting worse. I feel it now.
Yes.
Is No Name going to stay outside?
Mr. Kashad is far more understanding of this matter than I would be. I would not presume to guess where he will land.
That's fair. I'm just really worried about the furniture.
As am I. Well.
Do you have anything else, Miss Timmons? I was in the middle of dusting the fireplace.
For dusting the fireplace?
The mantle on the fireplace. I feel the other lady did not get well enough in it. It looked a little dusty. I picked up a vase and I think I saw dust, so I was re-cleaning it.
Shay, allow me, in light of our adventures, to relieve you of your dusting duties. Please make whatever preparations you find are necessary.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Rashad, could you make me a general wisdom check? This is not a saving throw.
Well, that's a natural 1, so I assume that will fail. So I will use my innate magic to re-roll.
Fair enough.
It's okay with you.
Certainly, although before you decide if you want to reroll, I'll tell you what I'm having you roll for, so you can make sure it's important enough. That was for the letter that you sent. Just a general, like, how well do you phrase things? How well do you incorporate the knowledge of what you know of their family into your addresses and vernacular?
Oh, we're definitely re-rolling that, man. We're not disrespecting. No, this is Kashad. No, absolutely not. Wisdom 15.
Okay, that's pretty good. The response comes back rather quickly and says, you did my family a great service once, and I would be happy to do the same for yours. If you are interested in the mode of travel that we might be able to provide, please come to this location, and it gives you an address. And he says, it says we can happily make some arrangements.
Based on the response, do I get that, like, I should meet them and then we'll talk about going, or should I have everybody come and then we'll leave then?
It sounds more like when you get here, we'll work something out.
Okay. Then he will receive that letter, tuck it inside, and then he will make his way through. No, he's not going to use magic. He will just go. He will visit his sister first, actually. Now, Zena, are you in? Are you decent?
Yes, enter. I am working on packing things. The suitcase I just emptied, going through and refilling it. Stuff we might need.
Are you well?
I just got home. You know how the road is. It's so dusty and awful, and I'd like to spend a little more time here, getting used to everything again before going back on another trip. But I guess we don't really have much of a choice.
I understand. Oh, I have arranged for a different mode of travel, so there won't be much road to get used to.
Well, that is a relief.
Indeed. How are you feeling as opposed to hunting? It is a bit different than what you usually do, and you have had a rough go about things recently.
It is. It's an important skill set, but not one that I'm looking forward to. But it'll be nice to spend some time with Abria in the wilds. It's been a while since we hung out, since we spent time together in nature, and I'd rather miss it, even if it is a little different than how it was when, well, I was a child. I think they still are.
I suppose it will be an experience, though I do remind you all we are not going for pleasantries, and it will be quite dangerous.
What about you? Are you concerned?
No, I believe that you all are talented enough. I am curious to see what we will encounter, but I believe it will make us stronger as a group.
I concur. It'll be a good experience, and hopefully we can find some things to help in whatever's going on up the castle and get some allies or some more resources.
Indeed. It will take some power to obtain, but I believe so. I intend for you to take Shay as your bodyguard properly for this expedition. Will that be a problem for you?
No, not at all. I look forward to, hopefully Shay's less evident talents won't be necessary, but I do have faith that if it comes down to it, they're very capable.
Of course, we'll see. Make sure you are taking care of yourself.
Indeed.
I have a feeling you will be quite talented with enough time.
Well, maybe it's just practice, after all. You know, hardly anyone's good at something the first time they try it. Except for you sometimes, it seems.
Skills gained through hard work are much more valuable than the ones gained through natural ability. Very overrated. Nonetheless, I will be relying on you. It appears that recent gifts took a number of physical attributes for me, so to speak. I'm not quite as quick as I used to be.
We will all take care of each other. It's what we do, after all.
Indeed. There are reports of a odd creature in the city, so be very careful of who you trust.
Is there anything specific about it? I mean, a creature would be pretty easy to spot, one would think.
I believe this one is taking human form. There's also the alien-like entity as well. Unfortunately, I don't believe there's much that can be done about either of them at the moment, but with enough time, for now I want you to value your survival and Shay's survival.
Of course. You know, this sounds like a very well-worded, be careful and stay out of trouble speech.
I suppose so, but then you were never quite good at the avoiding trouble. So it is more accurate to say it is an instruction to make sure you survive regardless of the trouble you find yourself in.
Well, I'm very intent on surviving, and the trouble does tend to find me. I don't always go walking into it.
Perhaps. Nonetheless, it is... Just be very careful.
I will. For my sake and for everyone else's.
Once you have finished packing, meet us downstairs.
Of course. Shouldn't be too much longer.
Right. Now, Grishad will leave.
Yeah. Sorry.
I was just saying, I was going to finish packing, kind of sit on the bed for a little bit and look around wistfully and maybe play that bone flute I was working on for a little bit.
A little bit of testing.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Practice.
I have a question. Do I now have a drop-off point for anything I might want to relay through underground means?
Yeah.
So Jethrin is going to write a couple of letters. The first letter is to whoever picks up these things, and it will state that these two letters are to be delivered to specific people with regards to the goings on in the capital. It would be safest for you not to view them, but that is at your discretion. So that's the first letter. The first letter that will be tucked inside that other letter is actually addressed to the masked man that I spoke to in the cell.
Okay.
And Yeah, that's literally the address of the second letter. That's what's written on the front. The masked man I spoke to in the cell. Jethro knows who it is, but maybe he doesn't know that he knows he knows.
Or it's something you don't want to write on something that could be seen by others.
Indeed. It says, I've discovered something very difficult to relay to people, but it might make some of your operations or understandings a bit easier to deal with. I believe... while I'm writing this letter, before I start going any further, Jethrin will stop for a second and cast Detect Magic.
Like with a spell slot?
Mm-hmm.
You look around you. Where are you writing the letter?
In his room.
In your room?
Yeah.
You do not sense anything magical that you do not expect, except for do you have like a bookshelf in your room?
Probably.
There is something lying on the bookshelf with a abjuration aura that you did not expect to be there.
What does it look like, this something?
Like you narrow your like literal physical sight and try to see what you can make of it from where you're sitting.
Yeah, I mean, it's just on my bookshelf, so I would see the glow coming off the whatever item it is, correct?
Some necklace of some kind.
Okay. So he'll keep that in mind for later, and confident that there's nothing divination-y going on in his room, he will...
There is nothing divination-y.
Right. He will continue writing the letter. It appears that your assumptions about something maybe off with the Queen might be correct. I am of the strong belief that the Queen might be dead or might be imprisoned somewhere, and that she has been replaced by an entity known as a Rakshasa. Pay attention to everyone's hands. Apparently, this entity cannot hide that its hands will be backwards. Or at least this is what I have been told. Keep yourself safe. And then the other letter is addressed to the Honored One. What would be the correct honorific? Would I just say Honored One, or Your Holiness, or...
Honored One. He goes by
just,
Honored One.
Just Honored One. Okay. Honored One. I apologize for the methods with which this letter finds you. However, I did not believe regular channels to be safe. Obviously, these letters are, this specific letter will be signed at the bottom with my own name and my rank and seal or whatever, but the other two letters are not signed with my name or seal or anything. Anyway,
you are utilizing this method to make sure that it ends up where you're trying to get it to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it will say, due to recent activities I have been engaged with and through research, we have come to believe that the capital has been infiltrated by a Rakshasa. It seems that this being has been imitating a number of people, both within the household I find myself on occasion, and within the royal court. I do not say this lightly, but I believe that Her Majesty the Queen has been replaced. I do not believe that this foe is within my own power to vanquish. However, I believe you might be capable of undertaking such a dangerous task. I understand the political ramifications of all of this. I trust you would have greater means of verifying my discoveries than I would. With deepest sympathy, Jethrin Cowpaw, Paladin of Anasvite. And those letters, Sir Jethrin Cowpaw, yes. And those letters would be, I guess, who knows, maybe even before I go to buy Kashad's things, because I'm going to town anyway, I would put them in the drop-off point.
Done and done.
Sorry, can I ask a quick housekeeping note, because I'm not sure if my notes are wrong. Is the Honored One the head cleric of Anasvite, or is these two different
Apparently
positions?
all of the religions, apparently, like the Pope.
Okay, so he's the local Pope, not the head cleric. Okay, understood. Thank you.
He is like, if you had 5 pillars that all couldn't agree, what if you got one person who was so above everything else that they couldn't argue with each other and quabble over it, right? He is so much more powerful than the head clerics that even they have to understand, accept, and respect how beloved and how many gifts have been bestowed upon him by his god. Yeah. Okay, so you drop those things off. Do you also investigate the necklace?
I will pick it up, and I will bring it to Kashad, hoping Kashad can identify it.
Do you inspect it at all before you do that?
Abjuration magic is protection.
Like, as in physically inspect it?
Sure, why not?
It is like a locket that flips open, has like a door. And there's no like pictures or like portraits or anything. But the initial CS are carved into when you open the window.
Aw.
I just wanted to make sure you knew that in case it informs whether or not you bring said thing to Kashad. You still can to have them identify it. I just wanted to make sure you knew before.
I still
Whom
will.
it was from. Okay.
I still will, but with a bit of a more gentle smile on my face. I feel like Jethrin probably would have gotten ready for the journey pretty quickly. Finding Kashad. Where would I find you, Kashad, at this point in time, actually? You had just had a conversation with Mare, I guess.
Yeah, probably somewhere traveling between Mare's room and Timmons, I suppose. Oh, okay, yeah. So walking through the house, the hallways.
All right. Oh, that's Kashad, just the person I wanted to see. Are you able at all to identify the magical properties of an item? I was given a gift, but I'm not sure what it does.
Unfortunately, I cannot. I can determine whether or not an item has magical essence in it, but I am unable to determine what it is exactly. Have you asked Shays for his assistance?
Shay is able to do that?
Would hope so.
Oh, excellent. Well, no huge rush. It is from a good friend of mine. It was a bit of a surprise gift. So, but I believe I am all ready, and I have making sure that all of our staff that are at least under my care should be doing their duties while we are gone. If there's anything else you require of me before we leave, other than that, I am ready, I believe.
Of course. You will be meeting soon. I assume you understand that you will be tasked with keeping all players safe throughout our journey.
Of course, yes. And, about what we had discussed earlier. Is that between us for this point in time, my lord?
It is.
Understood.
I have the capability to inquire about the Queen's status, but it would be risky, and I would not do it while we are still within the city. So I would strongly suggest keeping details limited for the moment.
Understood, my lord.
Do you go to find Shay to try to sort this out before you depart?
Well, Kashad, I believe, said that he is going to be assembling everyone shortly, so I will
wait for that.
Wait,
okay.
Yeah.
Any other individual preparations you all want to go over before you convene?
Can I quickly swing past Reggie and Greta?
You may.
I haven't talked to them in a while. We just got back from a long trip. I'm fixing to leave again. I have been studying my goblin while on the road a bit, so I went to go find them. But Timmons is doing the thing where she is trying to do the normal things despite abnormal circumstances, at least in her own head. So she's going to check on her people, she's going to make this, she's going to do that. She's going to go try and speak Goblin to Reggie and Greta before they leave and check in with them.
You hear some arguing behind the door in Goblin as you approach.
What did they say? I've got to be getting good.
You hear Reggie say, in essence, learn their language, we must assimilate. And Greta, in essence, replies, I don't want their dirty tongue.
I knock.
It goes silent. A beat. Another beat. The door opens. Reggie opens it.
In Goblin, I'll be like, I hope it's not a bad time.
Miss Timmons. And it's a bit awkward. She actually says the honorific in Goblin, but there's no Goblin word for Timmons, so...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I understand that well. Yeah. It's like, oh, Frau Smith.
Exactly.
Hello, Reggie, Greta.
A pleasure as always. Is there any way we could assist you?
The pleasure is mine. I am only wanting to... What is the word? I just looked at this word. I wanted to see how you are doing at this time.
We're doing good. Trying to work on Greta's common. Again, there's actually no Goblin word for the common language, so... common is actually said in common.
I look over Reggie at Greta, because I assume Greta's the one further away. And I'm like, I'll continue in Goblin. So what do you call it when you want to talk about it?
And he says the words, which roughly translate from Goblin to disgusting human language.
Well, I personally understand why someone would not want to learn the disgusting human language.
You are too kind, Miss Timmons.
No one has done bad to you in my Abgon.
He kind of thinks for a moment. Not like he's lying, but like processing many days of events at once. And he says, no, the house members are fine, and we mostly keep to ourselves anyway.
Do you need anything?
He just shakes his head.
Zach. I sent you a DM last time, and I can't remember what you said. Did I get more than one? And I'm going to go find that DM as well. So I asked you while we were on our travels if I got, like a trinket.
You were only able to obtain one whilst you were there.
Okay.
It's your choice who you give it to, but your time was limited.
Yeah. I will take a moment to look around their room. How does it look?
It's fine. It has some of the things that you set up in there to make it a bit more comfortable, but essentially anything that you yourself haven't brought them to make it more comfortable, it's otherwise Spartan.
It looks like you can need more things in the room.
Reggie actually switches to speaking in common, whilst he has mostly been speaking to you in Goblin. And he says, with all due respect, Miss Timmons, things are not important. It's something that one learns.
I stubbornly respond back in Goblin. While you are in my home, I want it to be home.
Continuing to speak in common, he says, home is where your people are, Miss Timmons, not where you have things.
Timmy gets really quiet. He kind of stares at the ground for a little bit. Then straightens up and in common will say, well, I apologize if I took up too much of your time. Please, if you need anything while I am out, you can speak to, I'm sure the cook would take care of you.
He bows deeply.
I bow back and leave.
Okay. If there's nothing further, I will assume that you all are gathering up at this point.
All right. So you see all Brea Chorus coming out with their items and components and no name yet on their shoulders as they gather to the meeting area. It says, I'm ready.
You are intending to bring your friend with you?
Mm-hmm. Who's going to take care of them when I'm gone?
Are you sure that is wise? Are you saying that because you want to bring him with you?
That too, but I think that if I keep them here, no one will be able to take care of her. Them.
Very well. I will allow you to express your own judgment. I believe it will be a good opportunity to give you some responsibility.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, we can show them the wilds. Besides, I am very comfortable with the wilds. I am like one with the wilds.
One with the trees, Master Rare. One with the trees.
What chapter is it?
Are the rest of you ready?
Indeed.
How
As
are
many
we?
as I'm going to be.
How are we getting there?
Oh,
We're going to go and speak with the Slate Wings. We have negotiated a tentative agreement. We will be staying for a while, and we will have no one else to rely on besides ourselves. I believe that will be a good opportunity for us to improve our cooperation. Naturally, Catherine and Aubria will be working together. Shay and Maravina will be cooperating, and Timmons, you will be with me. Is there anyone that has any issue with these arrangements?
Well, we're all going together, right?
indeed.
Then why are we breaking up into twos?
You all might be referred to it as partners or smaller cells. If the need arises, should we be separated or anything like that, you'll have someone to rely on. And it will encourage cooperation amongst each other and getting to know one another better.
Oh, okay. I never thought of that. Okay.
Buddy system.
Stay close together. And do not eat anything unless you are sure that it is safe.
Bring it to me first. I'm pretty good when it comes to nature, so I can take a look and see if it's like poisonous or something.
I will think about prepping that myself. Although, I suppose one of us is enough, isn't it? Are you able to make food and drink sources edible for us, or should I keep those specific prayers in mind?
I can make berries.
Noted. I shall make sure that I am able to purify any foods or drinks that we might encounter that might be poisonous.
Yeah, I don't think they got crate food or water. Let me double check that. I'm like,
Oh, this is just purify food and purify food.
oh,
and drink.
gotcha. Yeah, I'm not sure. Sorry, yeah, keep going. I'm just kind of curious if Druids get that. But keep going. Sorry.
Is there anything else that you all need to take care of before we leave?
Warg is fed. The soldiers are soldiering. On my end, I believe everything is copacetic.
Going to bring up the necklace.
I will, yes. Shay. Master Kashad said that I should ask you, are you able to identify the nature of enchanted items?
Yeah. It'll take like a couple minutes, but yeah, I can do it.
You mind having a look at this? My friend gave me a gift, and I can tell that it's magical, but he didn't tell me what it does.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And he'll like, because he's got his gloves on, so he'll just like hold his hand out for it because he's not wanting to touch it directly. Because he's like, I don't know what this is.
I'll put the locket.
And while we're waiting, he'll ritually do identify on it.
Oh, that's level 3 spell. Okay.
It is an amulet of Death Ward. It can utilize Death Ward one time. It's considered a rare item. And when a user would be knocked down to 0 hit points. It instead brings them to 1, and the necklace shatters.
Okay. Now, I guess it has to be attuned or something, right?
Yeah, this one would need to be. Yeah.
All right. Well, interesting.
Okay, are we ready? Are we going to go?
Yes, it is time. Gather your things. Packed light. This is not exactly a vacation. I have informed the others to allow people to hunt in pairs. Hopefully they will increase their abilities while we're gone.
Okay.
Another will take care of the house.
This is the first time we've been on a journey together in a really long time.
It has.
It's been a while. Going to be enjoyable.
Walking and talking now.
Okay. You make your way to the place that was suggested. It's essentially a pet supply store that's run by the Slate Wings. They have lots of different kinds of feed as well as like exotic types of things. Like, for example, fruits that like animals like berries would enjoy. No, it's much more humane than what is in chat. It's actually pretty big. It's like the size of a warehouse.
The in charge person.
Yeah, there's like a manager and attendant person basically on duty, and they're like, oh, yes, Mr. Karen, we were expecting you.
Indeed, I'm glad to see things are going well for you.
Of course. I believe they're waiting for you in the back. Are you ready? Is this a good time to lead you?
Now would be good.
Certainly. And he does lead you to the back. He brings you inside a room where you see a woman and whom you would probably know or recognize to be the youngest Slate Wing child of the main family branch.
Hello, I hope you all are doing well today.
And greetings to you as well.
Well, mate.
Hi. Have I met the youngest of the Slate Wings?
It's possible. I'll leave it to your judgment. They're a bit older.
Oh, okay. I would say if they're not in the same age group for school, they're probably not. Yeah. So nice to meet you all.
Do we know her name?
The woman? Do not recognize her.
Slate we were talking to, are they closer in age to Mare or a little bit older?
How old is Mary again? Like 20?
Yeah, like 20, 21, I think is what we kind of came down on.
I'd say they're probably the same year as you.
Okay. I'm probably familiar with them. It's good to see you again.
Same to you.
Thank you for your assistance. My brother told me we were taking a rather unconventional or different way for travels, and appreciate the opportunity.
Is that how he phrased it?
That's how I'm phrasing it.
Interesting. Well, it is good to see you as always, Maravina.
Indeed.
I do not believe I've had the pleasure of meeting you in person, my lady. I'm Sir Jethan Cloudpool.
Hello. She shakes your hand.
Did she give me her name? I'm desperately trying to get this woman's name.
She does not. She seems a bit what you might call flummoxed. She's, believe it or not, thrown off by the large lion that has just entered the room and asked for her name. Not by the way in like a fearful or like she's not like afraid of you, just very shocked, surprised.
She has an oh my. Moment.
Sort of like that, yes.
Hi, I'm Brea. This is no name yet.
Ah, so this is the best archer in the kingdom. That's what I hear anyway.
Me?
Yes, you.
Hi.
And everyone but Abrea probably has the insight to tell that this guy's, teasing Abrea a little bit. But Abrea probably does not have such insight.
Nope, not the slightest. It's like, oh, hey, no, I don't do that. It's a work in progress. I'm just okay at it. I'm okay at it. Thank you, though. Thank you for the kind words. Wow, I didn't know people say that about me.
Your words are very good and well. However, I believe there was business for us to discuss.
So I heard that there is. You're looking for passage for the lot of you down towards the cliffs. Is that still the case?
That is correct.
And my men, would they be waiting there with you? Or would they be free to return home after they brought you there?
We are tending to spend a not insignificant amount of time there, so I would not wish to impose your people for such a long time. They can leave.
So here's what I'd be willing to do for you then. It'll be 100 gold per person, but I know that that's a non-insignificant amount of gold to drop at once. Even perhaps for people of your station. So if that would be an inconvenience to you because of the favor that you've done my family, I'd be willing to take it on good faith and await repayment at a later date if that is more convenient for you.
Can I do an insight check? I would like to know if they were saying that or if they were trying to slide us when they said that.
You can roll insight.
Disrespectful. Like they was trying to be disrespectful. So I rolled a 10. Would that fail for my ability to reroll?
It would not be a failure, but if you reroll, you could get more information. Does that make sense? Like there will be some information about what you're asking, but higher could result in more.
Yes, I'm asking because the ability specifically says I can reroll a failure only, so I want to know if that would count.
Ooh.
So this is weird because of like a tiered knowledge check, assuming anything other than like not getting the highest level of possible knowledge from like the tiered knowledge check would be considered a failure. So I'd say yes. If you want to re-roll it, you can.
18.
You gather that he has a little bit of a youngest child attitude. He seems rather playful, almost still like a little childish, even for being someone who's Mare's age. He does not seem to have meant it in a way that intended offense, even though it was such a thing as like in-polite conversation could easily be received as that. Like you're definitely correct, but your assessment is that he didn't mean it that way. He's just a little playful and childish and probably hasn't even considered how it might be read that way.
Is this a different person than the woman we were talking to, or did I misunderstand that it was a woman in the first place?
There was a woman as well as a gentleman.
Ah, okay.
So the woman is with the Slatewing heir.
Okay.
It will remove a mid-sized sack from in his clothing. I will tell you what, he will pay you 600 gold for safe delivery. I will assume that I will take it on good faith that we will be delivered there safely. And then if we are delivered back here safely at the end of our journey, you'll receive 600 gold. Again.
So I want to make sure that I understand. Are you intending to have his people wait for you then? Or are you seeking a way to call them back? Or
Yes, so Shot has sending. So once they are ready to leave, you will send a message to him or whoever would be in charge.
Would that have been in the original note that you sent to them?
He would have said that he would contact them when he was ready to leave, but he would not say, "I will cast sending to you." I will send him. I will let you know when I'm ready to leave.
He would say. So at this point, it would be in character confusion. Then he would be like, "Oh, okay. I mean, that would be fine, but what do you mean get a message? It's a pretty far distance. It takes a week to get there, even by Griffin. You're going to be waiting there a while if you send a message and wait for them to come back for you."
I have arcane means of sending notice.
Oh, you see, he is a bit taken aback. Makes like a little bit of a face. Something in his mind adjusts as he comes to a realization. And he says,
do you mind if I put forth something now? If it's going to take them a week to get back, and then a week there, that's still 2 weeks, so going back by ship would still be faster.
Wait, say it again?
So, going back by ship takes 2 weeks, correct? How long does the ship take? 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
Okay, so it's a week faster. Okay, all right. So that's my logistical means are incorrect. Continue.
Right. I will notify you, and then once we are delivered back here safely, you will be given the other 600 gold, which will make it for an even 1,200, and happy passage for both of us.
Fair is fair on that note.
And then he will hand him the sack.
Okay. He takes it from you, doesn't count it, sets it on the table, stands up, offers his hand out to you.
He will shake his hand.
You are as honorable as they say.
Good reputation precedes us.
Out of curiosity, Lord Slatewing, might I inquire if there's anything that we might be able to pick up for you or your family while we are in that general vicinity? Perhaps we can make this an even more beneficial trip.
Interesting. I don't get that down that way too often. I tell you what, do you plan to travel north at all?
Do we?
You all haven't discussed it, but...
north from the arms of Justicar?
Yeah, you would gather that normally when people say, would you be headed north? They're generally talking about like towards the nearest civilization. So you would gather he means towards like the Gringar or Cinnabar area.
Could be done, depending on what you need.
Well, I wouldn't want you to really go out of your way too much, but I hear they use some interesting weaponry amongst those tribes. I've always been curious about it. Actually, Jethrin, are you carrying your weapon?
Of course.
He points at it and he's like, kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Not exactly the same, but supposedly it's like a weapon. You hold it in the middle, he kind of like demonstrates, and then there's a scimitar that comes down. There's also a scimitar that comes up on top. So, and he's like kind of like showing what it would look like to kind of wield such a weapon, and he's like,
I'm familiar.
Could acquire one. If you could acquire one, I'd definitely be very interested to add it to my experiment, perhaps do a little bit of training with it.
Would it be worth perhaps some of your men waiting for our return instead of asking them to come back?
Roll a persuasion check with advantage.
Wow. I don't think I'm going to need it. Natural 19 plus 6, 25.
It definitely could be. I probably wouldn't ask them to wait around the arms of Death's car. It's rather dangerous there, but it's a pretty short journey by bird over to Ejar. They could wait for you there, and it would certainly lighten the travel back to pick you up. I mean, they could meet you there easily with a little bit of forewarning, depending on how your traveling is going and however these arcane means work.
What do you think, Lord Karan? Would that suit us?
That will do fine.
Jethro will hold out his own paw to shake it.
He'll shake.
Excellent. You know, I have always wanted to see these as well. I've heard that they might have taken the idea from us and made it a little bit more human-sized.
Perhaps. I honestly couldn't say. Really just have heard of whisperings of them. Sorry, Lord Chiron, you're about to say?
When will your people be ready?
Well, it's getting a bit late this evening. The birds can see, the humans aren't so good at it. Would the morning be all right with you, first thing?
I believe that is fine.
I'll ready them, and as your safety is paramount, I'll make sure that their arms are ready as well.
Thank you for doing business.
The same to you.
It's nice to meet you.
I will
He kind
sign. Sorry, I'm going to sign to Obrea just quickly. I'm going to be the first flying lion.
He looks over at the woman who's with him, chuckles a little bit, and turns back to Jethrin, and he's like, her name's Maria.
Nice to meet you.
Yes. You too, sir. You too.
Back home, I
I
imagine.
believe. What's the going rate on like health potions in the city? And food?
I mean, standard prices, or if you wanted to try to leverage your position, you could get up to a 20% discount by going through the royal stores.
So what's the standard price?
For a health potion or for a food?
Health potion.
I believe it's 50 gold. You could get it as cheaply as 40 each for a basic healing potion. It requires exercising clout, and I don't know how much Kashad likes to do that all the time.
He will have a person to do that, to pick up a handful of health potions. Or just as many as they can get, like 3 or 4.
Going to the royal stores?
I mean, I guess we go to the store.
standard channel.
He won't. He would just send a person and tell them to go and fetch health potions. So, however, the person would interpret that. But would he allow? He won't tell them to use a discount or anything like that. He'll just give them like 200-ish gold for health potions just in case, and then however they interpret it is up to them.
They bring back 4 of them.
All right, now we really broke, so we should really.
I don't know why you bought it. I was just like, I got health spells galore, but I was like, okay.
You see, everyone thinks that until you spend your spell slots fighting something, and then you're like dying with only cantrips.
Oh, that's
Indeed.
why. That's why Brad has a bow. They're just shooting stuff from afar, and then they're gonna be like, heal.
No one has ever been upset about having too many health potions.
Or throwback to, unfortunately, things the audience haven't seen yet or heard about yet. If a random creature that you're not expecting it to fires a fireball at you and knocks the people with healing spells unconscious.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
That's true.
That could be a problem.
So, do we get in a long rest?
You do get a long rest, but I need to do a scene along that long rest because one of you is going to be having particularly interesting dreams.
Okay.
Everyone else may click the button. I mean, you can click it as well. Timmons.
I hear the voice of God, yes.
You do. This is your time to shine. Are you ready?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do this.
As Timmons lays for her head down to sleep, thinking over the day, it's been a rough few of them. And so it takes a moment, but sleep finally finds you. In your dreams, you find yourself in a bit of a familiar place. It's dark, but there's a little bit of light sneaking in. And as the scene fades in, you recognize a little bit of a hiding nook that you and someone that you used to know a long time ago had often used to sneak away from all of the staff and all of the parents and brothers and sisters who might be present in the castle, where you could speak privately. And sitting next to you, with a little bit of light just shining through the cracks into the nook on his face, is sweet 7-year-old Berthorpe, future father of House Kyran. And he's sitting next to you, and in your dream, you see him turn to you and he says, Gresha, we'll be friends forever no matter what, right?
Of course, B. We're always friends.
Yeah? You won't let Mom send you away or anything, right?
No, because my mom said that wherever you're going to go, I'm going to go.
That makes me feel really safe and happy. We could go anywhere in the world and you'd still be able to go with me.
Yeah. Ooh. Can we go to that one? You remember the forest from the story?
Yeah. We have to go there.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got another question.
Yeah?
Do you think I have to be the king just because Mom says I do?
I don't know. I mean, my mom and dad say that I have to be with you, and of course I'm going to do it, so...
So, if Mom says I have to be king, then I have to?
I mean, maybe not. But if you're not king, then do I get to be with you?
I hope so. If I break the rules, does that mean they would take you away? You see like real fear in his face.
I think Grisha is also very wide-eyed at the prospect. Like, she'd never considered before that for any reason they would need to split, and then now twice she's asked like if they need to split, and then she takes a moment, and then there's a very stern little 6-year-old nod on her face as like, no, it doesn't matter. If you're not the king, I'll still be wherever you are.
Good. That makes me happy because do you know where Telonia is?
Yeah, I think I heard Dad say something one time.
Yeah, it's supposed to be to the west, you know? That he like tries to find and point west and eventually he figures it out.
I just point wherever he's pointing. That way.
Yeah. Mom really wants to go there for some reason.
Do you have to go too?
I don't want to go. I don't think I have to go. She said the army's gonna go. I can't be in the army yet because I'm too little.
Yeah. But even if you go with the army, I'll go with you. And then we can travel together and see what's in Telonia.
Yeah. I don't really understand why we have to go because she said that my great grandfather, she says he left something there, and it's really important, apparently.
I think Grisha has probably been drilled on the names of all of the ancestors for this family because she knows exactly who was assigned to them in her own family. So she's just like, oh yeah, rattles off a whole bunch of names and titles to talk specifically about this person.
Yeah, but I don't understand why it matters. It's like a really, really old dude who's not here anymore, and he left something, and my mom wants to send a whole army to a country. There's a bunch of people with their own business just to get some old thing back? That doesn't make sense, does it?
I don't know. Like, no one's ever really, like, left me something, right? I mean, they told me some stuff to do, but, like, they didn't give me anything. Would you want to leave something for people after you?
Maybe.
You think it'd be important enough to go find it after?
I don't really think stuff's that important. You see, he kind of like brushes off his legs and like stands up, and he's like, but if you were in Telonia, I'd send the army there to get you back.
Well, I wouldn't be in Telonia if you weren't already there.
I know. And then he jumps down from your little spot.
All right, I'm going to start counting again. 1, 2, 3, and I'm covering up my face to, like, play hide and seek.
And as you cover your face to play hide and seek and count 3, the dream fades. You find yourself waking up. Somehow, light has cracked through. The rays are already hitting your face. It's morning. You've completed the sleeping portion as required of a long rest. And it starts to occur to you that that wasn't a dream. It was a memory. And that's where we'll take our short break today.
Wow. Okay. All right. Curveballs again tossed. I hope you enjoyed the session. If you like what you see here, make sure to join our Discord, which you should see in the description section below, where we have an area for spoilers, non-spoilers, fan art, and more. And we'll be back for the second half of Reclamation. But until then, farewell for now.
Left off with Miss Simmons, and we will we'll start with Miss Timmons. Miss Timmons, you are waking up. What is Timmons doing after experiencing this memory?
Timmons is naturally an early riser in all circumstances. It's something that she prides herself on. But as she wakes up, her hands are kind of shaking as she forces herself up, and she struggles to kind of get over to. She's got like what do they call those? Vanity, I guess, like a mirror with like a little bowl of water and that kind of whole situation. And she kind of takes her time to scrub her face while she's staring at her own reflection in the mirror. And it's very not put together as she normally would be. And so she kind of like pushes off away from the vanity and gets into like an area of the room. It's a very sparse room, an area of the room that
as you're pushing off, just one more thing I would add. For just that flicker flash of a terrible second, you see beside you another face that you often saw standing next to you in the mirror before it disappears as you push off and turn away.
Oh, yeah. So she goes to, like I said, her room's very sparse. So she goes to an area that she dedicates to kind of the more martial prowess and this kind of stuff, and begins running through the very first katas she ever learned when she began to make her way into the order. But they are more difficult than they have been in a very, very long time. And I think eventually she, in frustration, gives up on it and goes over to the bedside table and opens a drawer and pulls out a small notebook. And it is not very full, but as she flips through, there's quite a few things in her own hand. And she goes to a page that is roughly maybe halfway through it and gets out a piece of pen and begins to write a letter that she's never going to be able to deliver. Takes a moment to finish up that letter. It's not long. And it just ends with, even though you are not here, I carry you with me wherever we go. And then shuts the door, gets on her full like butler attire, and as she's putting on, it's like putting on armor, like slowly that persona is put on, like she can carry it on her, and she sets out into the house with her Timmons face fully in place and heads to where Lady Kyred's room is. And there's a brief moment of hesitation that no one is awake or around to see before she knocks on the door. And she's just going to spend some time in her presence.
So, surprisingly, Lady Kyran answers the door, and you can see she's not in, like, a slip or any sort of night clothes. She's in, like, casual at-home wear, which is pretty odd for this early hour of the morning. She opens the door and gestures to allow you inside, and she says, "You too, huh?"
Yeah.
I don't know why the mornings are always the hardest.
I think it's because sometimes in dreams we forget which morning we're on.
You might be right. Do you fancy a walk at all?
I would be delighted.
It's interesting to go about the world and see the other sorts of people that are up at such an early hour. The help at the bars, carrying in new flasks and new casks to replace everything that was drunk the night before. Farmers carrying in produce to the city. Well, life keeps moving, even this early. The world is very much alive.
Not too far from here, I have yet to go to my favorite bakery without the baker already being well into his work. Perhaps we could take a walk there and get something for breakfast.
That sounds good.
Will I accompany her around?
So you head off with her today?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything in particular you want to talk to her about along the way, or are you just soaking in the company?
I think it's mostly just soaking in the company. I leave to Kashad what information gets passed between him and his mother in concerning like the family stuff. But this is something that neither of us can share with any other member of this household. So I think there's a lot being said in not needing to say anything and in just both knowing that we both know kind of thing.
Yeah. It's interesting the way that the people that we love mold us, because you can almost see him in some of the things that catches her interest, right? Like the common people going about their business, the way that certain people tend to look out for others, like under any circumstances. The things that she notices are eerily similar, almost like they came from someone else.
And I think, just for flavor, I think there's probably a moment when they do get to the bakery where they're ordering different stuff, and they both go to order what would have been like something specifically for him, and then realize, oh, there's no one to take that one to.
Yep. And as she notices that happen, she says, I usually get it and just eat it anyway.
I mean, he was a man of good taste. You want to share?
What?
It done broke my own heart.
And you all, the two of you, enjoy each other's company as you share in that pastry. And I will pop this over to Kashad. There was something that you wanted to do this morning.
Oh,
am I within a mile of the castle where the queen is?
Not from home.
Then Kashad will grab one of his cloaks, kind of a rattier one, and put it on, as well as grabbing the components he recently purchased, and will convert a few sorcery first level spell slots into sorcery points, and then make his way so that way he's within a mile of the castle.
Yep.
And then he will look into the glass eye and cast clairvoyance. And I assume I've been in like the queen's bedroom before, correct?
Her bedroom? Probably not.
Then I will. I've been in the throne room, so I'll put clairvoyance in.
Absolutely. I would say probably you've been in most areas of the castle that aren't her bedroom. So any target, but the throne room is fine. You're scrying on clairvoyance on that particular location.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me refamiliarize myself with this spell. Apologies.
It's all good. I'm doing the thing. It's reckless.
can't talk to us anymore.
Okay. You do actually see. What time are you doing this?
Before I would have done it before I went to sleep.
Before you went to sleep. That changes things. Okay. And were you doing seeing or hearing? Or is it both? Seeing. You see the queen is in the throne room even at this late hour, and kneeling in front of her with her head bowed is Lady Erlona Goldheart.
I would like to switch to the hearing.
It's silent for a minute. Still just listening?
I will switch to seeing, and this time focus on the queen's hands.
Interesting. Make me a perception check.
10 plus 2, 12. Would that be a failure by chance?
No. You. Well, okay. You're looking for a specific piece of information, right? That would be enough to determine the thing that you're trying to determine, I think. So it would not apply the same, like, tiered information rule, because really you're looking for one specific thing, and you're able to get that thing with above a 10. Her hands are not backwards. They're normal.
He will listen to see what they are discussing.
You go back to listening. Another full minute of this passes. And then you hear the queen speak, and she says, "Your brother will die in 1 week. That is all the time I can give you. Make your amends and say your goodbyes. This has gone on long enough." And then you see the queen stand up and leave a crying Erlona Goldheart in the throne room alone.
He will watch until the spell ends, which I think is like another 8 minutes, I think.
And the queen.
And then once that happens, he will pull his cloak up and return to his home.
You do so. The 8 minutes are unchanging completely. The woman, Erlona Goldheart, still being there, crying the whole 8 minutes. At one point, you would notice a guard kind of goes in as if they're about to walk into the throne room, notices her. She kind of shakes their head a little bit, closes the door, and walks out. That's the only other thing of note that happens in your 8 minutes before you return.
As once he gets back, he will shift a few of his source points and cast sending to speak to Mr. Goldheart. I forget his name. What's his name? Mihiro?
Mahiro?
Yes. It appears the time is not on your side, unfortunately.
That is all you say, and wait for a reply?
Mm-hmm.
The reply is, it takes a couple seconds, but finally you hear a very tired, very beat down voice reply. "Time is against all of us." And that's it.
And he returned to his quarters and prepare for bed.
Okay. How, I guess, early do you stay out, Timmons?
I don't think Timmons is in a hurry unless Kashad said we are meeting at 8 a.m. in the drawing room. I will be there at that time. But prior to that, I am not in any rush. I will follow whatever pace Lady Kyran sets.
She basically, it would probably be about 9 or 9:30, which this has gone on for like hours at this point because you all, like the two of you were up so early. It would be about 9:30 that she would kind of, a bit awkwardly, like mid-conversation, she would say, I'm afraid I've kept you longer than I probably should have. I wouldn't want to upset my son. I believe you all are traveling soon. Perhaps we should head back.
My time is yours, Lady Kyran. I'd be happy to accompany you home.
And she will walk back with you all. So when people are rising, Timmons is actually not there. But she does come back about 9:30.
Bud is up bright and early, fully dressed, sitting at a table, playing chess with himself.
I think Jethro probably slept with the wargs last night. And then came back early enough to get cleaned up.
Yeah, Brea would have woken up.
You're muted.
Oh,
Kira.
Thanks for that heads up. Why is it not doing it? There we go. There we go. Perfect. So, the problem with 4 monitors, got to scroll across all 4 monitors just to get to the view section. Yeah, so Brea, I think they are probably a mixture. They're probably mostly excited. So as they get stuff prepared, they already had their things ready. I think they kind of like dive into Mare's room. Probably if she's still asleep, just like a little belly flop, like, hi, it's early morning. Time to go.
We do. Good morning. You know I love you, but maybe knock next time.
Okay, no worries. I was just really excited, so I wanted someone to share my excitement with. You see, No Name Yet just pop over the shoulder and say,
I gently pat No Name Yet, and I hug Abrea. Your enthusiasm is contagious.
Yeah. I'm
not...
also the best archer in the land.
You are the best archer in the land. You'll have to give me some pointers.
Oh, I can do that. I will let you. I know you have to do things to get ready, like lady stuff or stuff. I don't know what stuff you do.
Mostly hair.
Hair. Okay. I will wait downstairs.
That sounds lovely. I look forward to having a good breakfast. Who knows when we'll get another one?
Well, good berries are delicious.
Good berries are delicious, but you can't survive off of... Well, I suppose technically you can survive off of nothing but good berries, but...
At the mention of good berries as well, you both would see No Name Yet go...
Yeah. Because they had it before. They did not like it. Like, yes, it's an acquired taste. I know. He said, okay, and then they kind of like scoop No Name Yet back on their shoulders and be like, okay, I'll see you downstairs and watch one day No Name Yet. You're going to love good berries. Just give it some time. It's kind of like hors d'oeuvres or something like that. That's what I was told. And then they'll run down the stairs.
Bear, roll me an insight check. Aubrey is not paying enough attention to notice, but you might.
Oh, well, that's a 16.
You know, you would swear that when Aubrey is talking about No Name Yet eventually getting accustomed to good berries, you watch the creature make eye contact with you, and shake their head.
I think
Almost like they understand exactly everything that's being said.
Can I speak? I speak Celestial. Can I say to No Name Yet, it's all right. You don't have to like the good berries.
Say this in Celestial.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna sound weird. Give me an initiative roll, Abrea.
Okay. Well, I totally understand that because I also speak Celestial. Oh, but that's not going to do too well. That is a 6.
Yeah, so I think you understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem is that you're not expecting the reaction, which is that when Mare starts speaking, No Name Yet jumps off of you and goes over to start like brushing up against Mare's legs.
Oh. You like Celestial.
Well, who's a sweetheart?
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. I did not expect that. Well, it makes sense. If you're Celestial, then of course you would know Celestial. Abrea will switch over, will head back over to the bed, and then look into their look to No Name Yet and say, would you prefer for me to talk in Beast, which is they'll switch to their Sylvan Beast area where Beast can be able to understand them, and then they'll switch to Celestial and be like, or Celestial.
When you start speaking in Celestial, at that point, No Name Yet kind of like head bumps Mare and then jumps back over to you.
Oh, okay. They like Celestial. Oh, okay, we have a great way to communicate. Just Celestial.
I think this sounds lovely, and I'm still speaking in Celestial. I'm still petting No Name Yet's sort of snout on their face. Perhaps since they know that we can communicate a bit better with them, we can find out more about what they like and what don't like. Seems like the good berries may not be their favorite.
Yeah, I know that's not a lot of people favorites. They kind of like look towards the side. You say, okay, let's go. I wonder, and we can tell everyone this, and if they can speak Celestial, they can communicate with No Name Yet. It'd be great.
It would be. Would you like that, No Name Yet?
Would you like the others to talk to you in Celestial? This is all in Celestial, by the way.
You see the like intelligent eyes every time the speaker switches, just bouncing back and forth between the two of you.
Now, okay. Well, we'll see. I'll let the others know and see what happens. I'll see you downstairs, Mare.
I will see you downstairs.
All right. And it, you hear the little feet run off with No Name Yet on their shoulders as they head to the meeting room.
Okay.
And Mare just goes about morning routine, braiding hair and something very practical, putting on traveling clothes. Unlike the outfit she wore to Telonia, the daggers are going to be much more like visible and accessible. Whereas before they were kind of hidden. She's a lot more prepared for obvious potential violence.
Right, because flying through the sky is where you need to be prepared for potential violence. Nah, I mean, I get it.
You never know.
Birds are meat.
Makes sense.
Man.
It's true. That is very true. Okay. Anyone else making preparations or have things they want to handle before? We assume that you all have all convened somehow.
Shay spent a little bit more time in his room getting in last minute cuddles. with berries.
How do you go about trying to leave berries behind?
Very gently trying to hand him over to the cook, just like, just please, just feed him, love him. If I come home and he's hurt, so help me. just gently.
The cook says, no, don't worry, Shay. I appreciate you so much, and I love this little creature. I will definitely protect him. And then they get berries from you, and then they're unable to hold on to berries as berries just jumps back and starts gliding towards you.
Oh, you can't come with me. It might be dangerous.
You give back to the cook, and you start trying to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
As you try to walk away, you're hit in the back with berries as they've flown back over towards you again and dug their little claws into your shirt to hang on.
You got my hair. Berries, Grim, get off me.
Sorry. He's pretty squirmy. The cook grabs berries.
Oh. Do you want to come with me? I mean, I can't understand anything that you say, but do you want to come with me?
You make eye contact with berries?
Yes.
He jumps up towards your face.
Face hugger.
Yep.
Fine, you can come with me.
But he can't really fly, so he tries to glide up towards your face and then just floats to the ground.
Mage hand to just bonk him back up.
He gets on top of your head.
Okay. Any chance you could cut up some fruit real quick, and I could take it with us?
Oh, yes, of course.
Thank you. You're gonna have a discussion about this later, sir.
You don't know this now, but somewhere in all of the materials that Timmons has prepared, there is some cut up fruit for berries that Timmons was convinced was going to come.
While Jethrin is waiting for everybody, he has begun braiding a braid in his mane, just on the right hand side, a singular extra braid there, a new one, just waiting for everyone.
This ability to speak with Jethrin very quickly. Is everything you told me about this entity correct, Jethrin?
I am not sure, my lord. I do not know that much about them. I received this information from one of the higher clerics at the Temple of Anaspete. It is possible that they are able to do more or less than this cleric knows. However, perhaps we could find some more books on the subject, or...
Based on the information you have given me, I can confirm the Queen is fine. Though unfortunately it appears that Mr. Goldheart will not be surviving for much longer.
It is possible that those in a higher station in matters of faith might be able to double or triple check certain suspicions. I have taken some discreet methods in order to ask for said assistance.
Very well. He will end the connection. I finish his chess game against himself.
I will point out that Jethrin has never had a braid like that in his hair before. but he is waiting for everyone. With Kashad, are we meeting in your study, I guess, then? Or just downstairs in the front room?
Yeah.
All right.
Right in front of the door, waiting for the kids to bring their luggage down.
Home Alone 4. So Brea would definitely be one of the first ones coming out and just hear the little feet pedal come across through. They have their bow on the back, no name yet on their shoulders, and a whole bunch of components on the right-hand side. And they'll look up to y'all like, we have discovered something new.
Every day.
Sorry to interrupt, Sir Cloudpaw, your conversation. This is the runner who you normally use to send messages around town. This ended up in my pocket somehow. I don't even know how it got there. And he hands you a scroll that is addressed to Sir Cloudpaw.
Any insignia?
Seems to be a message of some sort. There is not.
Couriers and secret admirers take such interesting steps these days.
Yeah, of course. I just found it in my pocket. I thought it might be urgent, so I'll just get back to work.
Thank you very much.
You open it now?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to wait until we are moving.
Okay.
So, while everyone's coming out, Mary and I discovered that if you can speak Celestial, no name yet understands Celestial and really likes it.
Celestial creature, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have the singing voice for it, to be honest.
Oh. Okay.
Requires more of a melody than Leonin vocal cords seem to be capable of. Although, I sing fairly well.
Well, in case you ever thought about wanting to speak no name yet in their native language, that'd be the best way.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm. I am ready, waiting for the others. Mayor's coming down pretty soon. Wait, where's Timmons? Timmons is usually the first one awake with he's like the early bird. Like, I think early bird came from her because she's always like the first one up. I don't see her.
Do not see Timmons. You do see, however, an array of snacks already waiting for you in the meeting room.
Oh. Wait, is she not coming with us?
I believe Miss Tins is coming with us. Looks as if some kind of breakfast has been prepared.
And Mayor comes down the stairs and joins everybody out there.
Does it look as if Jethrin has been forgiven? Are there honey cakes?
That one I am not at liberty to say, though I did feel pretty justified in saying that there would have been some sort of food left before they left this morning. Timmons, did you leave honey cakes for Jethrin, or is she still banned?
He got unbanned. So there are, in fact, honey cakes.
I do remember him being unbanned. That doesn't mean there are honey cakes here, though. I mean...
There are plates set for each person with some of their more favorite items, as well as a bunch of little kind of buffet style other stuff. So it's small amounts of what each person would like, and then fill your plate with what else is available. And
I get the
Jethrin's
idea that Lady Kyran probably helped with this before you all left, and she was like, oh, well, no, I believe Shay likes the, and you're like, yes, of course, exactly what Shay will like is this. And you guys are kind of like...
Yeah, for sure. Shay's got like a little like apple streusel kind of thing on his plate.
And 3 cups of coffee.
Yep.
And 3 cups of coffee.
Yeah.
Just in a giant bowl.
Okay.
There's a setting of hot tea for Kashad only, because he's the only black tea drinker.
Any
Is
other?
just coming up from the kitchen, just like trying to get berries out of his hair. Like, stop! Not you. Why are your little fingers dug in?
After a few minutes of wrestling, Barry's finally jumps down off your head and kind of starts chilling out on your right shoulder.
He's just like, oh, thank you.
Does anyone else have other conversation they would like to have amongst themselves before Timmons returns?
No, I'm definitely wearing my locket though. Just chill.
Did you attune to it this morning?
Yeah. So it's an automatic thing, or I have to actually use the Death Ward, cast it physically.
Oh no. Basically, the item reacts to it happening while you're wearing it and attuned to it. So it's not even a spell that could be dispelled. They'd have to actually dispel the locket itself to suppress the magic of it to try to get rid of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's attuned to it, and just waiting for Timmons.
Okay. Timmons comes back inside. Timmons, how do you enter when everyone else is arrayed and sort of... you would know they've all been waiting for you by this time in the morning.
I enter and remove like my outer coat and hang it nicely, and then I make a lap around the table, putting a baked good that I picked up for each of them from the bakery on their plate as I go around and end at my seat.
I imagine Timmons knows a fair amount about Lutheran culture.
I clocked that braid, my dude.
Yeah.
There's like she goes to put like your baked good, and there's like that moment where she just doesn't let go for a minute. Is your locket inside your shirt or outside of your shirt?
Inside the shirt.
Okay, so she just kind of looks at you, and then does the eye thing where she, looking at your eyes, looks very clearly at the braid and back to your eyes, and then lets go and keeps going on.
Jethrin will gently squeeze her hand a little bit before she moves on and smile.
You'll nod in return.
Thank you for the food.
Well, I can only really take credit for some of it.
It's all quite delicious.
Yeah.
I'm quite excited to get flying, to be honest.
Yes.
It'll be very interesting.
Yeah, Brad just dives right into their food and eats super fast. Giving like some of the meat portions to no name yet, who's probably like jumping up. Yep.
Young Master Abrea.
Yes. Hello.
Please do slow down. I don't want you to choke. And then I'll set another plate next to Abrea's setting that is just like a little plate of meats.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. See, no name yet. You have now your old food cuisine.
So no name yet goes up to it, sniffs it a little bit, looks at everyone else eating from the table, and then kind of like looks up at Abrea like, this cool?
It's all you. You can eat it now, and they'll say it is celestial.
So what you see happen is, because the creature seems to have gathered that it can't hunt right now, it like bats its claw against each of the little chunks of meat before eating it. It just kind of goes
Yeah.
like it's trying to stab it to death, but it kind of also just comes across as like a little fork. Like
I think he has better table manners than I did at his age. Or her age? I'm still not sure.
We'll
Their
see.
age?
I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Yep.
All right.
And I guess after we get finished, he's like, okay, are you ready to go?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just speaking for myself here, but I'm so excited to get on the Griffin. Of course, I don't know if they'll like me very much, although they share some sort of lion ancestry, I imagine, in the distant, distant past. So maybe there's a kinship there. I don't know.
I can ask them.
Hopefully a kinship and not a rivalry.
Well, I don't have anything against griffins that I'm aware of.
Okay.
How does Mare and Shay look this morning?
Mare,
Like affect wise.
Mare's a little bit nervous, but also a little bit excited. She's very pleased with herself for being able to talk to No Name yet. But she's also a little nervous about this whole Griffin thing. She's not really... After the experience riding the wargs, where she did pretty well with that, but it still wasn't, super great, there's a little bit of apprehension, which is not usually par for the course for her.
Shay's got his normal look of indifference on his face.
I will say, probably all of you will have noticed when Timmons took off her outer jacket, so she's just got like the vest and button-up shirt that she wears underneath the jacket. You notice that she has an extra dagger that she didn't have the last time you saw her weapons.
Take it all prepared.
I'm ready.
Good.
As ready as I'm ever going to be.
To one
Indeed.
another.
All right, I guess we head over.
I think probably due to luggage, we might need to take like a little carriage with us to the Slate Wings, because there are provisions that have been packed, etc., to take with us. Or were you planning on walking?
God has his on his back, soldier style.
Timmons
Prepared.
will subtly suggest that we take a carriage to carry some of the stuff.
Very well. We'll get a carriage and to carry this stuff. I'm doing all good there.
Can I stop Sir Jethrin as we're leaving?
Sure.
So Jethrin, who exactly is in charge here while you are gone?
I had spoken to a number of staffers and such, and Tunok has been suggested to be a capable house captain.
Is he in service to this station at present?
I believe so. None of our people had been sent away.
What I mean is, has Mr. Kashad approved his appointment as the captain of this house?
Has Mr. Kashad approved his statement? Because I would have had that conversation during downtime, etc.
I don't think so, because he was supposed to get that. That one guy was supposed to do it. I don't know what happened to that guy.
The
I know that guy is still showing up in that.
yeah, the level 11 dude.
Yeah, if that happened, that's a whole other thing. Jethrin's going to be real sad about that.
I don't know if that guy ever showed up. I don't know.
I don't remember I don't remember what was going on with that. Something got lost in the juggling. I think you intended to like meet with him or something.
Yes, but he said, well, Kashad's instructions were they would be looked over and they would meet with him and he would decide. But then he never showed up, so I don't know.
That might have been my error. But that's fine, I suppose. We can invent a reason why he didn't show up.
So Shatuna can be in charge, at least for now. He gets a trial run. He gets a dry one to prove it that he can handle it.
Sure. At least for the time being, it seems that it's acceptable.
Simmons gives a satisfied-looking nod and is like, very well. Then I think that we are prepared to go.
I think so. And as we walk to the place or take the carriage ride, I will read my letter.
There is no signature. But it says, I can assure you the queen is quite herself. I check her over anytime I am in town personally for any signs of mischief would be the word he uses. That's all it says.
So, all right, there is no signature on this. All right, so I think I know who it's from then, I imagine. Okay. All right. Interesting. I'll fold the note and put it... Can I cast Detect Magic?
Can certainly try. No, that one should be pretty easy to accomplish. You cast it?
Yeah, any magic on the note?
Yes. You do sense abjuration magic.
Interesting. I will look at Kashad while we are driving, and I will scratch my head just here.
Let you to speak with Jothan.
Yes. Master Kashad, about that note that I received, it's possible that there is information on it that I cannot see.
Is there information that you would not want for me to see on the note?
Not at all. It is very much to do with my private underground connections that I've been establishing and the matter that we were discussing.
I shall cast See Invisibility.
I will hand Kashad the note.
What do I see, DM?
As Kashad looks at the note, it begins to burn from the center. It catches fire, and the note burns. And eventually incinerates itself, and slowly the abjuration aura fades as it burns.
You are muted to die.
Oh,
I thought you were speaking. Never mind, I'll take it back.
Whoops. Jethro says that out loud.
Simmons is discreetly coughing and like opening whatever windows we can inside this carriage due to the sudden increase of smoke.
Maybe I...
There actually is no smoke.
Maybe
Simmons
I...
pantomimes a cough and opening windows to imagine smoke.
I will give Jethrin a religion check, and anyone else who is trained in religion can also make a religion check.
I'm actually not trained in religion. I'm not that kind of paladin. But I will roll for...
You get a roll because you're special, not because you're trained.
Do I add anything to that? Because I have a plus
Absolutely
in my
not.
religion. Okay, so do I have guidance? No, I don't. It's a 12.
Okay. Does anyone else have proficiency in religion?
Nope.
Timmons?
Hey, religion is intelligence based, and Timmons is not intelligent.
Fair enough.
Shay,
Well,
Goddess here.
all you all notice is that it does not smoke. You're not sure why.
Okay.
Looking around, do I see any sensors or anything watching us?
No.
Well, I will check outside of the cart quickly.
With the exception of the sensor that you generally try to avoid looking directly at, that is sometimes watching a particular creature, there's nothing else. The other one is currently present.
Unfortunately, it appears our efforts have been in vain. Mr.
Is
Goldheart will-
this outside? This is now out loud, correct? Or in my head?
This is
Okay.
vocal.
All
No,
right.
this is
Okay.
vocal. Mr. Goldheart will be executed 1 week from yesterday.
How
Do
did
not
you
share
do?
that you know this information, nor will I tell you how I've come to gain it. But know that it is true, and I have obtained it from a very, let's say, reliable source.
I know there's nothing that we could do to stop this or to try to prove his innocence, but it still feels wrong to not be there to console his surviving family.
I will send Lady Goldheart a message once we have departed. Unfortunately, there's very little that we can do, and in my experience, just being there is hardly enough.
I would say so. I do apologize for that piece of paper. I think maybe it was meant for just me alone. Maybe that's why it decided to incinerate itself. Perhaps I misread the intention.
That was certainly something.
Of no importance.
Potentially not. Well, let's see what we can do for our house while we are away. As unfortunately, the Goldheart issue will take its course.
And perhaps we can find a way to stop what's happening to the Goldhearts from happening to anyone else.
Well, the only
Why
way
we go
to
stronger?
really stop that is if we stop the creature who's actually doing it. But we would have to find it first. It's like it's almost impossible to find it because they could be anyone.
It's true.
We will each have to grow stronger than we are now. And through power, we will be able to change the fates of other people and protect the innocent.
Yes. Make the world a little bit better.
Abrea nods, kind of leans back in their chair, but like grabs onto no name yet as they lock onto that information.
And then we arrive at the Slate wings.
Yep, no name yet does that thing where like he like puts his jaws around you, but like doesn't really bite, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or, like the play biting kind of thing.
Mhm. Yeah, they'll Abrea will like kind of like subconsciously put their hand like close to their mouth to keep them occupied for a bit. But they're definitely lingering on Kashad's and Mare's words about being stronger to make sure things like that doesn't happen in the future. So it's like half-heartedly playing, but half-heartedly, but mostly thinking about how they can make sure this doesn't happen again later on.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of a tug of war because Abrea wants to concentrate on thinking about it, and no name yet is sensing that something's like a little off. So there's like the push and pull of like, you know, you're trying to think a little deeply. No name yet is trying to take your mind off what you're thinking about. So you're like pulling back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's awesome.
But you all do arrive, and you see, waiting for you is 5 griffins and 1 what looks to be a lizard with wings. A large lizard with wings. It is bigger and stronger looking than the griffin.
What is
It's not a dragon.
First the wargs, and now the slate wings. I mean, I'm not that big. This is it's one of those things.
Abrea is going to use their prime evil awareness to get that 1 mile sense of like, what is this creature? And that allows them to detect aberrations, celestials, undeads, fiends, dragons. There's like a large group. Let me go back to the original what you call it.
You remember when you got the thing that you sensed that was something that you had never sensed before? You get a similar feeling from this creature. Or at least within the range of primeval awareness.
Oh.
What is that? Have I ever? Well, actually, let me ask. Can we make some kind of nature check to see if we've ever seen this kind of thing? Or
You may.
All
but
right.
I'm proficient, but you know.
Is it nature? Or would there be another check to roll for?
These dice are not Jethrin's dice. Nope, Jethrin has never seen that in his life. There was a natural 2, and I have no bonuses. In fact, I think I have a minus. Actually, I have a +3. Still, that's only a 5. I've never seen it in my life.
I'm not proficient.
I am proficient. Can I use guidance on this?
Nah.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay, just make it.
If you had asked beforehand, probably, but
Oh yeah, no worries. I haven't rolled yet, but yeah, I was like, guidance work? I don't think so. Let me check. All right, cool. Oh, sorry.
no, it's more because like you weren't really prepared for when you walked back here. That's why you can't really guide yourself. You're really prepared for like, oh, there's this weird thing. You know what I mean?
No worries. I rolled a 14, so that would give me 18 total.
18 total, still not bad. How did everyone else do?
It's roll in nature. No, it's 2.
Yeah. Hey, welcome to the 2 club. I got 5, but still I rolled a 2, so nah.
No, I rolled a 2, and it's gonna stay at 2.
Yeah.
I also rolled the 2.
17.
Oh yeah.
I'm not proficient in nature. Am I rolling this?
Wizard bring
Are you proficient in Arcana?
Nope.
Okay.
Wait, I could have done Arcana.
You can roll Arcana, yeah.
You want me to redo the check?
Yeah, you can reroll. It's fine.
So am I not rolling at all? Or?
That's less. It's a 12.
Actually, roll a history check with your thing.
Oh, snap.
Jubilee, do the thing.
That always comes up in weird ways.
It does. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
No, sorry, with
Abrea-
the thing, 21.
Oh, okay. Abrea, unfortunately, this is a bizarre enough creature that even an 18, which is pretty good, is not really enough to know anything about it. It's kind of got you scratching your head like, that's weird. It's not even in the rare section of the, like,
The Book of Lies.
Beast manual that I have. And that's weird. That's weird because it's written by the people who supposedly now have one of these things standing in front of us. But Timmons, you would know that while they are widely known for being griffin riders and for raising and breeding griffins, they do have a small contingent of these creatures that they have. They cannot be bred. They are old. And they are tamed and captured from the wild. And no one knows where they have obtained these creatures from. Even the people who told you about this information. These are earrings. And I will put it into chat. Earrings. And Timmons would know that they are a strange magical creature that is very difficult to locate because they have a natural affinity and ability to cast shadow amongst themselves.
So Timmons is doing like perimeter check, wait. And her attention gets kind of sucked into this because she's never seen one before. She's just been told that they have this. And there is a look of admiration and something a little bit wistful that she's seeing it right now.
You hear a voice behind you as another door opens, and the man you had been speaking to the previous day kind of pops head, and he's like, I see you've met your guarantee of protection.
Oh.
I think we are all quite fortunate to be meeting and airing at all.
What now?
Yes, well, you seem like a trustworthy lot, and Lord Kashad there seemed to be a bit worried about your health. Sort of put me on to the fact that you might be perhaps dealing with something at the moment. So I thought a little bit of insurance might be useful to your journey.
So this isn't because the Griffins...
It goes without saying that this creature doesn't exist. You understand my drift?
No idea to what creature you are referring.
Just to clarify, how far are we away from the castle at the moment?
At the moment?
Mm-hmm.
That's this Flight Wing. Ooh, it's tough. It's around about a mile. It's kind of at that point where it's like Aubrey is like, would it be in the mile or out of the mile? I don't know. It's very, very close.
Okay. Aubrey kind of like turns their head to the side for a second. Then looks when Timmons mentions the name, and then looks towards the youngest heir of Slatewing and says, "Oh, so this is what I felt. I felt something like this, like within a mile from the castle. So this must have been it. An airing. Were you ever flying around the castle?"
creature was ever near the castle, Obrea. No such creature was ever near the castle. There's no reason to continue to ask such frivolous questions.
What?
I think what your brother means, young Abrea, is that this creature has never been flying by the castle because this creature doesn't exist.
Oh. Okay.
No one can know what you've seen. You understand?
Okay.
Well, as wonderful as that is, thank you very much for the extra protection. Who will be joining us on this fantastic ride?
Well, by your leave, my men will be flying those. And he points to the griffins. And I'll be flying that. And he points to the airing.
Of course. It's a beautiful creature.
And pay no mind, Sir Cloudpaw. The griffins are very strong. If you prefer to ride a griffin, you certainly may.
I believe I might be the first Leonin to ever be airborne, so I honestly, either way is quite fine with me. I was only jesting earlier. As you might be able to tell, I have had to stop wearing armor for my own pursuits to make life a little bit easier for the mounts we are trying to raise. I'm sure Ilan has told you all about our journeys.
Ilan. I think I know who you're talking about. Don't necessarily get to speak with him all that regularly, but...
I understand he's sort of branch family or some such, but still.
Perhaps I'll have to. Sounds like he probably has some interesting stories cooked up by now. Anyway. Men. You hear him say the word men, and a couple of people start appearing. You see 5 individuals that go to prep the griffins. They all seem to be wearing like a light form of leather armor, but they have a shield strapped to each of their backs. And you can see there's already like a sling. There's already like a sling around the griffins where spears are. There are like multiple spears that are kind of attached by this harness to each of the griffins.
Wow, okay.
Well, whichever you will be riding upon, Obrea, I shall be on the one next to it, if that is all right by everybody.
Okay.
Get up, separate, and hold on.
Albrea will walk up to, I guess, the griffin that they're planning on riding, and they'll just speak to them in their bestial language. You'll be like, "It's nice to meet you. Thank you for allowing us to ride you."
See the creature kind of cocks its head to the side, gives you like the one eyeball, and then kind of like turns its head up a little bit. Not anything that drastic, but it does seem to like snub you a little bit. Just quite odd because Abrea is normally very, very in touch and in tune with animals. These seem to be very proud.
It's that lion in him.
Yep. And so they smile and nod, and then they'll get on their griffin's back.
You all mount up and get ready to leave?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Which of you is riding directly with the youngest Slatewing, out of curiosity?
I might be close to him just because he and I probably knew each other. Or we talked about he and I would have been familiar with each other. So I probably would be talking to him a little bit, trying to get some more gossip.
Okay, so you're gonna ride with him?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. As you all mount up and get ready to leave, he says, "This is gonna be a little bit weird. Trust the animal. They can hear better than we can, and they know what they're doing."
That is excellent advice. I am not... For as much time as I spend with my youngest sibling, I don't have their affinity for animals, and I appreciate all the advice I can get.
And as you all take to the air, you watch as each of you sees everyone else vanish from sight. And all you hear is the flapping of wings. You are all, including the animals, now fully invisible to the naked eye.
Tight.
As you take to the air and begin your journey towards the cliffs. You cast Ascending?
Yes.
Who do you cast it to?
Lady Goldheart.
Very well. What do you say?
I will. Unfortunately, it appears that I will be unable to assist in saving your brother. But I feel you should know that this is political in nature. I think that's 25 words. I think.
Okay. The reply is just 2 words. I understand. And you all fly towards your destination, fully invisible. That seems like a good place to end the episode tonight.
Ooh, all right. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for next week as we enter into the wild, wild lands, dealing with who knows what type of creatures, but it looks like we got some backup on our side. So once again, we hope you enjoy it. So again, if you like what you see here, like to talk about our campaign, make sure to join our Discord, and we'll be back for next week for our next episode of Reclamation. But until then, farewell for now.